with that weird, goofy announcement, we'll go ahead and get started with session number 11 of Epics of Irindal. We are well and truly into the double digits of sessions now. Last time, our intrepid trio had left the safety of the Railway Tavern, the arcane locomotive, after a incursion of creatures known as bone collectors had assaulted the train and abducted a group of passengers at the rear of the train on the observation deck. Begrudgingly, Tarmo, the conductor, gave permission as they needed time for the locomotive to be reinitiated and restarted after stopping while you all attempted to save a number of these abducted passengers. Heading approximately south by southwest into the dunes, you found yourselves in a low-slung segment of rocky outcropping where these bone collectors had made a temporary nest of sorts, encountering a gruesome scene upon arrival deep in this rocky outcropping in the desert, as one of these abductees had already been seemingly devoured by these macabre undead creatures. The two remaining individuals, those you had briefly encountered aboard the train, were well and truly underway after being attacked as well. One male half-orcish nobleman had already had one of his arms completely removed, and followed shortly by one of his legs. A gruesome sight that you all encountered and proceeded to try to thwart. Successful in your initial attempts at removing these creatures from existence and saving these two passengers, you were able to stabilize the man before he succumbed to his wounds. But not before a strange collection of aberrant magic brought these bonish corpses back together into a singular, disturbing entity, this two-headed centipede-like creature that you all again managed to dispatch, but not without a great deal of undertaking, almost succumbing to its ferocity yourselves. But nonetheless, you were successful. But in that process, you encountered strange liquid beginning to pour out of some of these broken, shattered bones. A softly glowing blue liquid emptying out of some of the larger bones of this creature. And upon trying to collect up some of these remains, you were halted by an unknown individual. An individual clad in black leather robes, carrying a variety of medical instruments around their waist and across their chest, wearing a macabre-looking, hooked-nosed doctor's mask with goggles completely obscuring their face. This individual then proceeded to speak to all of you individually, never saying a word verbally, but only in the mind did you hear the ominous voice of this individual, one Dr. Nightingale. Floof, in a somewhat appropriate rage, having seen some of these medical instruments and recognizing a bit of the scent of this individual and about this individual, the same sort of scent that had lingered in the cave the day your mother died. You proceeded to try to attack this individual, only to be swiftly turned into a roughly harmless bear cub for a short while, as this individual proceeded to speak with you in calmer circumstances. And after a lengthy conversation among you all, presented you with a strange symbol that you had never seen before, almost like a reversed three-pronged trident, and said, you should search out this information, that the world itself was not necessarily your ally in this situation. And after a bit more discussion, they then proceeded to speak with you, Trash, performing an incantation you were fairly familiar with, the Identify spell. What you weren't familiar with was the target of said spell, as normally Identify is used upon inanimate objects or objects of enchanted or magical properties, but this spell was cast upon you, creating the briefest moment of soft blue light where your greenish-yellowish form normally encompassed the whole of your body, before it swiftly disappeared to its normal hue once more. After which, this strange individual proceeded to vanish, seemingly finding the information they were interested in, leaving you all, accompanying the two wounded individuals as you proceeded back towards the Railway Tavern. At this point, the night air has grown cold. It's soft but sand-infused winds whipping across your faces and backs as you head back the way you came, back towards the rail lines and the soft light of the rail cars atop them of the Railway Tavern. Approximately an hour and a half to maybe just within the confines of your 2-hour window. About half a mile out, you see the soft light of hooded lanterns pointing towards your direction as a number of individuals scurry towards you, seeing you carefully carrying the wounded individuals together. The man whose wounds had almost been completely fatal, and his partner also almost grievously wounded as well. Among these individuals, you recognize the half-elven conductor, Tarmo, running up towards you all, inspecting the situation, the matters at hand. Oh my goodness. Are you all right? As he looks you all up and down. How many were there? What happened?
All right, it's kind of a moving goalpost at this point.
Fair enough.
Alive is positive.
I believe there were 3 individuals. What? Please don't tell me that.
I shake my head.
Oh my goodness. By the heavenly light. Well, come along then. And he proceeds to have 2 individuals you don't recognize, but are clearly garbed in the staff's attire, are helping the half-orcish man and his wife towards one of the cars, and you hear Tarmo call out to them, have Brandir have them bunk up in his quarters. He won't be too happy about it, but it's definitely the most well-appointed for the time being. I'll be in there shortly to see to some immediate healing methods, but we'll need powerful magic to undo what's been done this evening. We'll see to it that it's all on the house of the tavern, of course. As he looks to the three of you, and I'll see that you all bunked up in nicer quarters for the time being, as a thank you for doing what you did. Come along then. We're just about to fire up the engines. You watch as you are approaching the railway tavern, coming within visible shot of the lights of the tavern all spread around in this these beautiful ornate lanterns all around the various cars, and you see a variety of individuals looking out their windows, eyeing you all as you come within that lit radius of the cars. Some of which in confusion, others in awe. Some have already ignored the warnings of the staff, have come out onto the railings, and you hear a variety of them beginning to cheer and clap as you walk and proceed. Those who recognize what's been done this evening. As this is going on, explain to me how each of you is reacting at this moment in time.
I am completely lost in thought of what happened back at the end of that fight with Dr. Nightingale, and I'm almost like a zombie just following along, like what's going on, trying to process what happened. So the cheers are all deaf on me, and I'm not really paying any attention to it at all, unfortunately.
Of course. In your hand, you still grip the small, ruffled piece of paper, the crudely drawn symbol drawn in a piece of etcher's chalk in a black charcoal-like substance etched across the parchment. Closest answer you've come to what happened to your mother and why in several years. Dazes, what is going through your mind at this moment?
I was gonna make a joke, but I'm not gonna make a joke. I guess I'm just relieved that we were able to save who we were able to save, and the cheers probably aren't really reaching me either at this point, because in my head I'm thinking that we certainly have a lot to deal with coming up soon, so I'm a bit more focused on that, I guess.
As a man of a traveling occupation, never truly laying down roots, but for a handful of years in the recent past, to be rewarded for anything is seemingly foreign to you, as it feels more like a duty of your trade more so than a matter of honor or circumstance. So it seems fitting to have an air of neutrality to your reaction. Lastly, Trash, what is going through your mind as you step up onto the platform of one of the cars now, having seen what occurred this evening and what occurred with the strange individual in those rocky outcroppings?
Yeah, I would say that I kind of mirror what Dazes and Floof are feeling, because it's not. Yes, we did achieve, I guess, some sort of positive result, or can it can seem like a bit of a victory, but knowing what we heard and we had to experience, it does feel like a hollow victory. And yeah, I think my thoughts are also a little bit scrambled, very similar to Floof's, just kind of wondering a little bit more about this individual, the Dr. Nightingale, and what his role is in Floof's life, in my life. Yeah, just like a lot of questions, I think, surrounding that.
Fair.
We're not the most vain group, are we?
To some, that would be a benefit of time and wisdom. To others, it may seem as an air of ungratefulness. But ultimately, it is your decision and how you choose to view the world. But nonetheless, regardless of tonight's events, the light of the moon, spheres in the sky, and the rotation of this plane of existence moves on as you all are escorted to finer accommodations, at least for this evening. One of the last 2 evenings you'll experience aboard the Railway Tavern before arriving in Tafar, your final destination in your pursuit of your queried individual. But your things are already brought to you in your new accommodations. 2 rooms, in fact. One solo bed for you on the left-hand side, Trash. A much more comfortable queen bed with soft linens and down pillows, soft carpeted floors, and soft warm light. Massage the aching and fatigued body and mind as you fall softly onto the comforter. On the opposite end, a pair of beds in the opposite room directly across the hallway for you, Floof, and Dazes. Again, well-appointed mattresses in comparison to the bunks that you had slept on the previous evening. Still a bit short for you, Floof, in your rather large stature, but a bit more breathing room this time around. A welcome comfort after the intensities of the evening. The warm light massaging what little restraint inhibits you from falling into a deep and much-needed sleep this evening. Is there anything else you all would like to do before we take this day to a close?
Nope, I drift to sleep looking at that little symbol. The reverse trident thingy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anything.
Okay. And Trash?
I mean, I was gonna like check up on the group, but it seems like everyone's just kind of like stoic and wants to go to bed and just kind of maybe wipe the day from their memory. So I take that cue and I go to bed too.
Okay. You all rest with ease, the fatigue of the day washing over you like greater than any amount of comfort that could be provided of this or any other accommodation. As you take your time waking up in the morning, only rousing well into the morning light, possibly closer to midday, as you nurse your wounds and recover. And for those who missed last session, our party leveled up to level 5. So if you guys haven't already taken, you can go ahead and take your long rest now. Mechanically get back all your spell slots, all your HP, which I know some of you desperately need. So feel free to do so now. But as you are all allowed to take your extended rest in the much comfier accommodations of the mithril cabin, upon rousing for the morning, you all are greeted with hot water filled basins, as well as oil and scented towels at your doors. Beautiful smells of lavender and lemongrass await you as you open the doors, allowing you to clean up before being offered by some of the attending individuals specific to the mithril cabin. As you see on further down, in this case moving down towards the observation car at the far end, the caboose, if you will, this private seating area that you are welcome to take your meal, your morning meal at least, in this particular cabin, or a morning coffee or any other beverage you would like to greet the day. As you see a small human, or shorter human man, reddish brownish hair, a bit of a oddly thin trimmed goatee, steps up to you all as you begin to rouse for the morning. Oh, hello. Can I get you anything?
Hungry.
Of course. Is there anything you'd like? We have just wonderful sourdough pancakes. We have freshly cooked bacon, cured morning ham. We have a wonderful local sand-brewed coffee. It's absolutely delightful. Or we have a number of fruit juices, or if you're wanting to put a bit of hair on the dog, we can certainly ask Rivo to deliver some more intense beverages for the morning.
All sounds good. I want all.
Of course, yes. All on the house, of course. Thank you so much for what you did this evening.
Two of everything.
Of course. Right this way. And he escorts you over to one of the various plush lounge chairs that sit up to these marble-topped, oak-based seating arrangements that are kind of scattered around in no particular order in this cart, but to kind of give this air of plenty of space for you to stretch out and lounge and enjoy. You notice that the windows of this car are much larger and more ornate to kind of frame the scenery as you watch the locomotive drive through. Looking eastward, you see the high-rise mesas stretching out all along the horizon, and to the left, the wide sand dunes, almost like miniature mountains, off into the distance as far as the eye can see. And you get that as the heat rises across these dunes, you see it almost this mirage effect of water, giving off this air of the ocean. And just maybe about 5 or 6 miles from where you are currently along the designated route of the Railway Tavern, you see the wide, spanning Jamila River stretching with various townships and boats fishing along the river and various powered vessels moving up and down the river, transporting large crates of goods and things of that nature. Now able to see these little townships and smaller cities along the edges and banks of the river, stretching out almost like this long, thin oasis that moves along the arid deserts on both sides. Give me just a moment and I'll be right back with your breakfast. Would you all like anything? Addressing you, Trash, and Dazes.
May I have the same things that this gentleman is getting, but half, a third,
Certainly.
a quarter of the portion?
Certainly. Why don't I go ahead and just have the cook whip up a smorgasbord of all of our specialty items. It is entirely on the house for what you did last evening.
That should suffice.
Very well. I'll be back in just a moment. And you watch as he scurries off. You can now see he's probably maybe in his, most likely in his late teens, maybe early 20s. Still kind of has that greenhorn enthusiasm about the world, but just beginning to come into some facial hair as he scurries off out of one of the cabin doors, as you all are left to collect your thoughts within the mithril cabin. Only a handful of individuals have really roused after the intensity of the previous evening, some refusing to even leave their cabins after the previous evening for fear of their lives, while others are of understanding that such is the risk of traveling through the desert, even in such otherwise armored venues. But as you sit down, is there anything you would like to do?
How are you feeling, Floof?
I'll hold out the thing and be like, do either of you recognize, have you seen this before?
Wait, what are you holding up?
The reverse trident upside down
Oh.
image.
Yeah,
whatever.
I haven't put it in Roll20, but if you look in the Discord, you can see it.
I mean, would I have seen anything like that before?
Give me a history check.
Okay. History. Oh, okay. 12 plus 7, so that's 19.
19. This symbol is exceedingly obscure. You don't vividly recall seeing it anywhere. Not directly, anyway. But what you do recognize is the sort of flow and pattern of the design. Although you don't recognize its origin, you understand that this particular pattern of writing, having studied various books in the various libraries of the magistrate, having accompanied Catherine to a number of her appointments, you recognize that this symbol is exceedingly ancient. As in, as early as the founding, potentially as early as the founding of this continent, to see this sort of decorative design as it's drawn here. And that is what you are able to sort of glean from the image you are given.
Okay. It's super old. So old, like the beginning of the world old. I think.
How old are you?
Not that old.
Oh. I will now look at Dazes and see if he knows anything about it.
I guess I'll make a roll too.
Yeah. You can go ahead and give me a history check. 12. You have no idea. This is, yeah, you're like, looks like Trident. Or, you know, something.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just hold it out in front of me, put my elbows on the table, and just keep staring at it.
Well, what did that man say about this symbol when you were given it?
Let me silently think about that for a second while I look at my notebook. Man was individual of understanding, said world is broken by greed, and the source of all magic and life on this continent needs to be found. Gave me this, and said we need to understand one's place in this world, and that's the first step. Did I get that right, Stopper?
Pretty much. Yeah, you pretty much nailed it.
Okay.
Actually, better than my notes.
Let's fucking go.
I love it when players take better notes than I do because it makes my job so much easier.
I'm a crack note taker because of D&D. I got highlighters. I'm fucking cracked.
There you
on
go.
Notes right now.
Floof's gonna be, he's gonna have that, we'll have to make a meme of Floof instead of Charlie Day with the notes and the strings everywhere by the end.
And yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not long after your discussion of this symbol given to you by the mysterious Dr. Nightingale, you hear one of the doors behind you into the cart swing open as you hear a rompous presence enter into the car. A rompous but jovial presence, if you will, as a somewhat familiar face enters the car, eyeing you all almost immediately as they are heading the opposite direction, but stop and greet you all with a air of what you gather is an air of impressed and gratitude mixed with a confidence in thanking you all for your endeavors the prior evening. You recognize this man as Lord Almanur, one of the well-to-do, well-dressed nobles that you all had briefly encountered by proxy the previous night. I'll go ahead and bring him up here on the screen for you all. Just a moment here. Let's see here. Oh, that's not the button I want. There we go. You recognize the fine silk cloak, the fine leathers, as well as fine velvet-lined petticoat, as well as the fine leather oiled boots as he steps up to you all. His jet black hair and finely trimmed mustache and goatee with the sort of chin strap running thinly across from ear to ear up into some well-trimmed sideburns as he looks to you all. Friends, what an evening! What a display! A pleasure to meet such valiant individuals. How are you doing this morning?
Sorry, could I ask, was this the individual that was having that conversation the other night in the train?
He was one of the individuals, yes.
Okay. Interesting.
He was one of the more vocal individuals of the evening.
I ignore him completely.
What an impressive show! What an impressive evening. I have much to do this morning and this afternoon, but please let me offer you as a thank you on behalf of everyone aboard the railway at this time. Please, you must accompany me for dinner. It is entirely on me. Please, we will have quite the spread this evening. I must insist. I would love to get to know you more.
I eat a lot.
Of course, I can see that. You are very strong and huge. I would be quite concerned if you didn't eat your weight.
I shrug and look to the party to see if we're down for the dinner.
That's what I was gonna do.
Thunder stolen.
I guess we're both looking at Dazes.
I'll look to him and say, we'll accept your offer.
Excellent. Thank you all so much. I wish I could stay and chat, but I will go ahead and savor the moment, and we will exchange more news and stories abundant this evening. But until then, friends, please have a wonderful day. Please take your time and recover. And if you should need anything of me, don't hesitate to ask. We are all in your debt. You watch as he bows his head and tips his non-existent hat to you all as he proceeds up into one of the adjacent cars moving towards the front of the train.
Do we? Oh wait, he's left. The Lord Almanar.
Yeah, Almanor.
Okay. Do we recall the conversation he was having the other day? I was trying to listen, but my ears were plugged or something. I couldn't hear that much.
You would remember that he was having a conversation with one of the other nobles. He seemed to recognize this individual and perhaps have done business with them in the past. He was discussing potentially doing more business in the future, and it was kind of a mixed reception from the other individuals, what you remember.
Mixed from the other, meaning the others were a bit cool to the idea of doing more business.
Yes, the other individual, the larger, more rotund nobleman.
Okay.
Lord Gourmand or something.
Yes.
It's funny how you should see. I just phonetically do my best to phonetically spell some names before they're added to like the thing, and they're probably all so bad. But I think it's funny.
But shortly after this brief discussion, you watch as the young staff member comes back, accompanied by two other individuals carrying massive plates, platters full of food. The scent, as soon as they walk in and proceed to set the food down at your table, waft through your noses, this wonderfully scent of sweet and savory and salty, as well as the scent of strong coffee in a lavish-looking decanter is placed beside you. And on one of the platters, you see as they spread the food and the silverware out in front of you all, you watch as they set down this pot. It is filled with sand beside this decanter, and the base of this decanter is entirely made of some sort of like hand-forged copper or brass, this metal all along the bottom. And as they pour hot water and some of the coffee grounds into this decanter, they then place it into the sand, and almost within 2 or 3 seconds, you watch as this the strong scent of coffee just like billows up in front of all of you all. And just before it begins to overflow into the sand, they raise it up and begin pouring it into smaller glasses for you all, almost brewing it instantly. And you realize that as you kind of pass your hand closer to that bowl of sand, it is exceedingly hot, as if they just scooped it right out of the midday dunes to heat and brew this coffee almost instantly. And you watch them do this multiple times as they serve you all this almost instantly brewed, finely ground coffee with this intense aroma. But they also have a number of other smaller decanters with freshly squeezed fruit juices and things of a bit more sweeter nature, as they spread everything out for you all and then step back a little ways. Is there anything else we can get for you?
I just start grabbing food.
I think we're all right, thank you.
Of course.
Actually, I want to ask.
Yes.
How does the sand stay hot?
Well, as you see here, it's inside of a large ceramic bowl, and we scoop this directly off the hot sands. Sand is an excellent conductor of heat. And then we place the brewing decanter inside the sand, and that heats up the bottom almost instantly as the heat is transferred from the sand into the brewing container.
How fresh is the sand?
Not but a few moments on the way here. We capture it in a specially designed scoop, and then pour it into this basin. It's a local delicacy as we head further north. It's a very common preparation.
Fascinating. Oh, that was my only question.
Of course. We love sharing the local intricacies and food and delicacies of this area as we pass through the various portions of the dynasty. Fun fact, that is actually a real thing. It's a form of Turkish coffee. The preparation of brewing it inside hot sand.
Very cool. Today I learned something. Look at that.
I have always wanted to try Turkish coffee, like IRL.
Yeah, not all of it's prepared that way, but there's a specific type if you look it up.
Yeah,
where
I've seen
they have it in like a brass or a copper brewing vessel. And then if you watch it, it's almost like it foams up, like you overpoured a fresh soda and and you overpoured it. It's like right before it's about to overflow into the sand, they pick it up and pour it. It's really fun to watch.
Wild.
Mm-hmm.
But the staff members leave you all to your morning meal. A beautiful assortment of various baked goods, various sweetened delicacies, various fruits, an assortment of cured meats, and freshly cooked bacon and things of that nature. Quite the spread, much to the quite possibly one of the nicest meals that you all have seen in a very long time.
I'm just
Hopefully get enough
chowing
food
down.
before Floof eats it all.
Better hurry.
I mean, I do okay for myself because I just shove a bunch of things into my slime body to slowly digest later.
You watch Dazes and Floof as this trash sort of more engulfs various aspects of the food and drink as you watch it kind of initially just sort of float into the form before it vanishes amidst the more opaque portions of her amoeboid form. But as that is going on, you all take your meal, enjoying one of the rewards of a job well done, regardless of how you view it. Or the staff certainly are trying to show their appreciation for doing what could be done in the situation. Perhaps something that they were either not willing or capable of accomplishing. You did at a mere behest. So you can definitely sense the appreciation. But after you take your meal, feeling quite full, enjoying the coffee, it is a rich, dark roasted coffee with a accompanied by a number of very finely ground sugars and sweeteners, as well as a fine fresh cream that is placed inside of a ceramic jar beside it. A beautiful assortment of fixings of, like I said, fruits, cured meats, and things of that nature. A decadent meal for quite the occasion as a thank you. But after you all have had your morning meal, what would you like to do?
What a great question.
How long do we have till we reach our destination? We're off the train anyway.
You have approximately 2 full more days, basically. You
Okay.
have, yeah, you have. You'll arrive in Tafir almost into the evening of the following day.
Okay.
I feel like I haven't updated Catherine in a bit, so I will kind of just give her an update on the Dr. Nightingale and
Okay.
that we're searching for. Is it
Gemil.
Gamil?
Yeah, Gemil.
Yes. And then yeah, and just, give her that kind of brief update. So just so that she's aware, because I feel like I haven't been in the loop with her as much.
Sure. What specifically would you like to say to Catherine via the Sending Stone?
I guess I'm trying to remember when I last updated her, so I don't want to overwhelm her with information. I'll say, sorry for the sparse update. En route to search for Gamil in Tafar City?
Tafir. Yeah.
Tafir.
Mhm.
We encountered an individual named Dr. Nightingale. He scanned my body. Weird.
All right. It's a brief moment, perhaps another 5 or 6 minutes go by with no response, as you almost assume you may not receive a response immediately before you feel a small hum of the stone in your hand. And you hear Catherine's familiar voice. You met Dr. Nightingale. They are a fugitive of the Empire. Please, do be careful. They have been known to maim or potentially even kill those who they don't agree with. Strange to hear they investigated your person. Hope you are well. You feel the stone slowly stop humming in your hand as it grows cold and motionless once more. And how does Trash react to that information?
I don't remember. Am I allowed to like use it again, or it's kind of one of those? It's it lays like dormant for a while, kind of thing.
I want to say it's dormant. Let me double check real quick because it may be multiple use. I think initially we said it's a single use per day, but let me double check.
Okay. But I would like to share this information with the rest of the party. So I did kind of step out or like to a quieter space.
I was gonna say, yeah, because you would have. It's kind of like a speakerphone that can't be shut off.
Yeah, so I would have like stepped away, but I would like to go back and join the group and relay this information that Catherine shared with me. Is that I think we're already a little bit wary about Dr. Nightingale, but Catherine told me that he is officially a fugitive of the state. So I think we have to tread a little carefully around this individual.
We trust Catherine, or we trust Dr. Nightingale?
Well, I mean, you know where my loyalty lies. Catherine has given me everything, and she's taken care of me all this time. I'm not saying we shouldn't look into, Dr. Nightingale a bit more, but I'm just saying I think we should just err on the side of caution.
And above the table, to clarify, it's single use per day, refuels at dawn.
Okay.
For the original wording of it, so I'm gonna rely on that since I did not make that item.
Cool. Sounds good.
Catherine, say why fugitive?
I think he something along the lines of him hurting, killing, or maiming individuals that he doesn't agree with, which kind of tracks with what we know of him, which is that if he believes someone or something to be affected by this, I don't know, like blight or something, then he will step in and do what is needed. So it kind of tracks, right?
I grunt. Didn't kill us that good.
That is, yeah.
Nevertheless, we must tread carefully. We wouldn't want to find ourselves on the wrong side of Dr. Nightingale. If he is that
you can see intense thoughts in my little brain as I think about what's going on, and who to trust, and where I'm gonna get my answers.
I'll pat you on the back for support.
I give you a look, a good look, but I say nothing else.
At least it's a good look.
As you exchange words of confidence and exchange thoughts on the matter, is there anything else you all would like to do, or should we assume the day is filled with leisure and recovery until your appointment this evening?
Yeah, I'll retire back to my room and think more.
Yeah, I guess leisure and recovery.
I'm taking any food that wasn't eaten with me.
Do we still have sandwiches?
Yes, you do. I don't know where they are, and I don't know what condition they're in. You know what? In fact, Floof, roll me a d20. Just a straight
All right.
d20. There's a handful that are still in edible shape, but most of them have developed quite an off smell or quite an off color.
All right. Any sandwiches I had with me, I will drop on this table and take anything fresh, a fresh tray.
Just
of
leave the
whatever with
rotten
me.
sandwiches.
Yep.
All right. You leave the off-smelling sandwiches sitting on the platter that was once filled with breakfast foods and drinks, kind of filling the room with this sort of scent of like a cure house. If you've ever been inside of a meat curing factory, is kind of that scent, that initial scent of like, you can't tell if this is intended to be intentional or if this is just food gone bad. Trash, is there anything you would like to do, or should we just time skip to this evening?
I acknowledge that this reminds me of home because it smells like home.
Because it smells like refuse to some degree.
And then yeah, I'm happy to retire into our room for until the night.
I actually want to actively ask for a bag of some sort
Okay.
to put these sandwiches in. This is rough.
Fair enough. You are easily. You watch there's a number of like staff that are on duty in these cars, the nicer cars at all times, to attend to guests. And with questioning looks, they watch as these sandwiches are left in place of the food that was consumed. Very confused. Do you need some doggy bags or something to throw this away?
Yes, please.
Certainly. And they run off and grab something post haste. Very kind of concerned about the smell that's growing, as well as a number of passengers that have already begun to kind of either filter out because of the smell of these things, or are giving some of you like very concerning and dirty looks. But are a bit appeased when you collect up this these rotting pieces of food. And the staff member kind of, let me handle it. Don't you worry. Certainly, I cannot ask you to clean up this after what you did for us the prior evening. Please, please go on your way. We'll take care of this. As they he calls over another staff member, and they begin to kind of bust the table.
Okay.
But with that, we will assume that you all recover for the day, taking time to reflect on the previous evening, reflect on the words shared with you by Catherine, as well as those words exchanged with you by Dr. Nightingale. A strange individual, to say the least. Now that you learn... oh, Trash, did you share with the group... I believe you already did that what Catherine had shared with you?
Yes.
Okay. So you all are aware of what the situation is.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thinking back on whether or not anything you were told the prior evening was even real, but you do understand that if this was truly a situation where they found you to be a danger to them, perhaps you may be among those maimed or even killed by this supposed individual. As you think back that, at least with your initial insight of the situation, that they had no intent of harming you to such a degree, at least not in the moment. That what you recognize as a capable individual, but not necessarily a dangerous individual in the moment. At least not dangerous towards you all. But the day stretches on, hot sun beating down on the copper and tin roof of the carts of the railway tavern, the arcane locomotive engine moving ever onward through the stretching deserts and mesas of the Jamila dynasty, sandy dunes passing over on both sides. On the western edge, the high mountainous dunes almost stretching up for nearly half a mile in places, well above the horizon line that you all can see at your level, about level with the water line at times of the Jamila River. And Trash, from your side of the cabin that faces these dunes, you can see at the edge of the view, you almost see what looks like a massive creature cresting through the sand like water before immediately apexing and going back into the sands in the distance, leaving behind this powdery-like cloud of sand in the air as it exited your view.
Was I the only one who saw that?
It would be the only one. You would be the only one of your group that would have seen it, as you are facing. You're the one with the room facing west, on the west side of the car as you head north.
Okay. Did I mean, I know it was very brief, but did I recognize what I saw, or?
Give me either a nature. Well, yeah, give me a nature check. I think is the most appropriate.
Nature. I rolled a 10.
The 10. You're not 100% certain, but you do recall a creature of this size being native to the Fidi Dunes, the deserts west of the Jamila dynasty. Not studying them too heavily, but knowing that this is most likely a purple worm.
Oh.
A massive... Oh, that was weird. Got some feedback there. A massive...
That's me, sorry.
Oh, okay, you're good. I was like, wait a minute. A massive burrowing creature that makes its home within the dunes. One of the, if not the apex predator of this region.
Okay.
But you, although a bit concerning, it is extremely far off. We're talking on the very edge of your line of sight in broad daylight in the middle of the day.
Okay. Okay. I am not overly concerned, but I like make a mental note that I kind of saw it, kind of thing.
Of course. As the day grows long, and you see on the long horizon, passing westward, as the sun begins to fade into the western skies, and the temperature falls swiftly, the lights of the railway begin to illuminate, and you begin to hear the soft, jovial music of the entertainment car begin to play as it did the previous night. As you all hear a few knocks on your doors, out in the hallway you see a number of staff members coming to greet you all, accompanied by the same red-headed human male individual. We have a invitation from Lord Almanor. He's asked if you all still intend to join him for dinner.
I suppose so.
Yes.
Okay. Well, dinner will be served in about an hour. If you need any preparation or you would like, we have some evening wear if you'd like to change into something a bit more formal, or if you'd like any toiletries or anything like that in preparation for this evening, we'd be happy to provide that for you.
I'm wearing this.
Of course, of course.
Dazes, you changing?
Probably, I don't know. Why not?
And he watches as one of the other individuals comes over and with a tape measure to take a quick couple measurements for you. I believe we have some fine local robes that should be just in your size. Some casual evening wear that should fit the moment perfectly. And Miss, would you like any accompaniments for this evening?
Sure. I don't typically get to retain a lot of fancy clothing. It might be nice.
You watch as the same individual comes to you and begins to take measurements, a bit uncertain about your proportions, never having encountered a individual of your body type before, but given your typical form as sort of rattling adjacent, tries to find something that should fit. I believe yes, I believe Prim should have something that should fit you nicely. Let me speak with her and see if she wouldn't mind lending it to you for the evening.
That would be great, thank you.
they leave for you some hot towels as well as a basin of the same sort of scented oil-infused waters for you all to sort of clean yourselves up for dinner and things of that nature before coming back to you. Aziz presenting you with this sort of one-sided over-the-shoulder with tunic, kind of exposing your left-hand side shoulder as it kind of slings over your right-hand shoulder. And then sort of these billowing silk-ish adjacent sort of pants. Although a bit larger towards the bottom, they cinch down tighter around the ankles, kind of giving this pillowing-like effect. Are very quite comfortable and very nice in some of this hotter air as you have passed through between the various cars that are not as well ventilated or out in the temperature. You can definitely tell this is a garb of the environment and accompanied with some well-tailored slipper-like indoor shoes that kind of match in color this sort of almost like a soft royal purple type coloring to the tunic as it falls across with a similar matching sash, this woven together kind of braided sash that ties around at the waist, matching the color and texture of the shoes. And then for you, Trash, you see this, they bring to you this smaller sort of evening gown that falls down across one side of the shoulder and then hanging up, and it is tied in this very beautiful and colorful, fake but beautiful colored preserved flower, this almost lily-like flower that sits on the opposite shoulder and falls down into this slimming figure. And as you turn, you watch the light catch it, and you can see from as the light hits in different angles, the color kind of varies in this chromatic sort of change from end to end as the light hits it in different angles. But if anything is not to your liking, I apologize, and we can certainly try again. But these were the best we could do on short notice.
Good to me.
Yeah, I'm very much admiring the beauty of this garment, seeing as how I have never owned something so pretty.
With that, we'll go ahead and let's see. Does anybody need to take a quick break? I need to use the restroom.
I could take a couple minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I need to set up the next kind of map area and also take a quick bathroom break. So why don't we come back in about 5 or so minutes?
Sounds good to me.
Ooh, cool.
Okay.
Now cleaned up and adorned, dressed to the nines for your dinner engagement with the nobleman, Lord Almanur, accompanied by your attendants here in the Mithril cabin. You are escorted like nobility to the entertainment cart. The previous evening where you would enjoy the musical numbers of the on-site staff entertainment, as well as some fine drinks and food, now go again to enjoy the gracious hospitality of your invited host, Lord Almanur. Entering into the entertainment cart, you can already begin to hear the soft jazz-like musical numbers of a arcane sort of an arcane record player, if you will. Very much has that sort of soft warmth to the music as it plays through the various amplifiers spread throughout the ceiling of the cart, and a number of arcane instruments to amplify and clarify the sound as it plays off of these crystal-like spheres that are placed inside of brass rings in this implement. Trash, you've seen a number of these inside the various magistrate buildings and offices. A well-known invention of the Arcanists of the Magisterium Arcanum, this form of retaining, often used for music, as well as grand speeches of nobility and kings and rulers throughout the ages to preserve a moment in time in a basically a flash moment in audio history inside these crystalline spheres, played back through arcane means in these devices. But inside, you walk in, coming in from to the right-hand side, or I'm sorry, the left-hand side of the setup stage as the musical accompaniment, or the live music portion of the evening has yet to begin, maybe a couple hours from now. But you come in from the left-hand side, and I'll go ahead and pull up this space again for you all. Behind the bar, you see the beautiful red, gold, and yellow flaming hair of the half-elven man, Rivo, already beginning to mix drinks behind the bar in a eloquent way. A bit of showmanship mixed in as well. Not necessarily necessary, but nonetheless entertaining. At the far end, you see a number of tables have been pushed together, and you recognize a few of the individuals from the previous evening. Of course, your host, sitting directly in front of where you walked in to the far end of the cart, Lord Almanur, spotting you as you all advance from the opposite end of the car, waving his hands forward to invite you over to a number of seats. Sitting across from him, I know the map doesn't really show it, but these tables have kind of been pushed together. On the same side, across next to him, the rather large, rotund nobleman you recognize as one of his prior dinner guests, as well as what you can seemingly understand is their partner, a thin, shorter half-elven woman wearing this beautiful evening blue nightgown with long, flowing black hair that falls down just above the collarbone. And as Lord Almanur greets you all, he stands up. Honored guests, saviors, please have a seat, might I introduce Lord Tavarius Garmon, one of the nobles of the dynasty, and his beautiful wife. As they both kind of nod to you. A fine deed you did the prior evening. You have my gratitude. And you guys can go ahead and drop your tokens somewhere in that general area if you'd like. And as you all begin to get comfortable and begin, Lord Almanur calls to the bar. Sir, a round of drinks for everyone, please. Whatever these individuals would like, they are my personal guests for the evening. Please, see that they are well filled with the finest libations you can offer. You kind of see just a tint of annoyance from the bartender as the hair kind of like ripples a little bit, but without question he begins to mix up a variety of cocktails from behind the bar. Also, while this is going on, you've noticed that the train itself has begun to slow as you have kind of reached, and you can see just as night is beginning to fall, you all are reaching one of the designated stops for the railway tavern. And just as the establishment is coming to a halt, and the music is beginning to play, and the staff is beginning to take this moment of stationary time to begin to set up without the rocking and swaying naturally associated with the cars themselves. You see on the platform outside, there are very few people getting on at this point, with the exception of one finely dressed individual. A gorgeous blonde-haired half-elven woman wearing this stunning red evening gown. And behind her, you see a number of the staff members struggling a bit to escort her horse onto one of the upper cars where animals and steeds are stored for travel and housed in this sort of limited stable space. This beautiful painted mare and that is kind of like kicking and bucking a bit. And you watch as this woman sort of just ever so gently grazes her hand across this seemingly terrified horse that's beginning to like really struggle against some of the staff members. And you watch as their demeanor changes almost instantly. The fear and nervousness in the eyes of this beautiful horse begins to subside as they and you know she lifts out from her hand a handful of grains and various pine nuts and things of that nature, begins to feed the animal before urging the staff to perhaps do a bit of a better job in stabling her horse, as she is guided up directly into your cart for evening, accompanied by one of the staff members helping her aboard. Floof and Trash, you don't quite catch this, but Dazes, being directly across from Lord Gamon, you see this wide-eyed, greedy-like look as this woman looks, enters the train. This immediate look of lust in his eyes as he focuses almost wholeheartedly on the appearance of this woman.
Wife?
Sure. Give me an insight check.
Okay. Oh, whoops.
You go to look, but as you're doing this, Lord Almanor kind of cuts you off. Friends, might please, I'd love to know the names of our saviors the prior evening. Please, introduce yourselves. Of course, I am Lord Darius Almanur, Prince of one of the neighboring kingdoms just north of Tafir. I'm heading home from a long, arduous business trip. And of course, as I introduced, this is Lord Tavarius Garmon and his wife, his beautiful wife, both past friends and business acquaintances. And you kind of hear the Lord Garmon as he kind of tries to shake off both his wandering eyes and kind of break the association with this kind of cough as he's almost pretending to choke on his drink a little bit.
Am I smart enough to realize that he is eyeing up that girl?
Give me an insight check, since you weren't kind of in that beadline periphery. It would have been harder to see.
Okay.
You would have just caught the end of it. But it would have been. You would have caught more of the unsubtle nature of his attempt at hiding it.
All right. Since that's all I got, I'll lean to Dazes and whisper, "I think he wants to mate with her."
I'll stifle a laugh.
But please, your names. I would love to know more about you and where you learned to. What occurred last evening. We don't really know what happened, other than that you returned, having saved most of those who were abducted. Unfortunately, we can only do so much as mortals.
I am Dazes.
Wonderful to meet you, Dazes. Please, where are you from, sir?
Don't worry, I'm.
I'll just say I'm a great traveler, so I don't have a home per se.
The world is your home, I see. Yes, a traveler by trade, yes.
Yes, particularly the ocean, I suppose.
Ah, sailor! Fine. I can see by your build and your complexion, you've certainly seen your way about the seas of this continent. Perhaps even further. And you, milady, what is your name? As he kind of stretches his hand out cordially towards you, Trash.
Untitled. And then I point at myself. Trash.
Trash. That is a peculiar name, but I am not one to judge. Many names share varied significance across this world, but a pleasure nonetheless. And as he's sort of shaking your hand, give me an insight check.
Okay. Insight. Unfortunately, it was low. It was a 6.
A firm handshake.
Very insightful.
It's a firm handshake from a very tanned hand. And of course, you are good, sir. A man of great stature and build. What is your name?
My name, Floof.
Floof. What a jovial name. And where are you from, sir? What brings you here?
Abandoned in the walled forest, raised by bear. Someone killed mom. Here to kill them. Wherever
Wow.
they are.
Raised in the Aelenwald. That is quite a dangerous place for the uninitiated. And raised by the wilds of the Aelenwald, no less. Fascinating. Quite the story. Story of vengeance, no less, but I understand family, blood runs thicker than water, as they say.
Did you kill my mother? And then I pause and start laughing.
Sense of humor. Fantastic. Never lose that sense of humor, sir.
It is immediately erased from my face thinking about what happened yesterday. But I don't attack him or anything. But
Yes, even in the darkest times, we must find a bit of silver lining. I'm glad to see that you have not lost all faith in the revelries of this world to offset the darkness. Fantastic. Well, as I said, I am Lord Darius Almanor, and I am a trader by trade, if you will. A man of venture, of exchange, a man of wonder, seeking all I can in this world. And in fact, that is what has brought myself and Lord Garmon back together after many, many years. We, in the past, have had dealings among the... Well, I am no longer in part to that venture. I sold those rights many years ago. I am a, how you say, trader of sorts as well.
What do you trade if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, usually I go by in trade of rare resources of this particular region. Are you perhaps familiar in the trade of how you say, yes, that one, yes. As he takes a big drink of his ale. Yes. A lucrative product in this day and age, this day of Arcanum. The Magisterium Arcanum is quite a lucrative trade partner. They will pay top dollar for such fine specimens of Lunarium.
I've started to clench my fist and I'm getting very angry.
In that moment, you watch as Rivo steps forward and he comes over with a platter of drinks, beginning to serve you all. You look down. The drinks themselves are somewhat clear, but have I shouldn't say they have they're a clear sort of liquid in that they don't have any coloring to them, but they are filled with ice and they have sort of an opaque quality to them, more of like a hazy quality to them. And spread around the rim is this reddish sugar-like substance around the rim. As he spreads them all out for you. This is the delicacy of the house. The I like to call it the well, in certain circles, it's known as a firecracker. But that seems a bit too childish. And you hear Lord Almanor. Of course, no. Sometimes the frivolity of a child is the perfect name for the finest of cocktails. Firecracker sounds fantastic. I look forward to trying it. You kind of see that look of Rivo again, and you see the hair kind of sizzle a bit as he was trying to give it a different name in the moment. But nonetheless, he serves you all a round of firecrackers of this liquid before stepping back behind the bar, and you hear as you go to pick up the drinks, you can hear it fizzling. A combination between the effervescence of the soda water as it makes contact with this sugar-like substance. You hear it start to crackle a little bit, like a firecracker of sorts, or some sort of merriment explosive device. But as you take a sip of the drinks, it has a mixture of cinnamon and lemon, and a distilled floral note behind it, almost like a I'm trying to remember the particular drink, but as that rock-like sugary substance hits your lips and makes contact with the soda water all at once, it has the effect of, like, the closest equivalent I can think of is like Pop Rocks, giving that same sort of crackling notes as you take the drink.
I'm smacking my lips and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, wondering what's going on. But I like the way it tastes.
Shortly after, hold on one moment here, you see that same beautiful half-elven woman sit down by herself. I'll go ahead and pull up a picture for you all of this individual as they sit down at one of the adjacent tables, the beautiful red evening gown trailing down just over the edge of the feet in this sort of hourglass-like shape. Pull it up for you all. You see the gold filigree around the upper bust area, as well as these long sleeves going down and ending in this more darkened ruby color going over the fingers in this sort of seamless attached jewelry at the end of the middle finger on both hands. The hair done up beautifully and braided, sort of slightly asymmetrical, kind of accenting the facial, the thinned half-elven facial structure. And while this is going on, a number of staff members begin to bring out the food for the evening, the first course of many. The first being this freshwater fish, sort of thinly sliced caviar, like, or mixed with these caviar pearls, with a thin skewered piece of fish, a small portion, not much larger than the palm of your hand. But as you take a bite, the flavor of these pearls explode over the top of the fish, and almost this herb-infused oil sealed within these caviar-like pearls, giving a moment of intense flavor before the final devouring of the single bite morsel. And then this is preceded again by a number of various vegetable dishes, all more intricate and extravagant than the last. And just before, just before the live music begins, you watch as the head chef, a short in stature but jovial-looking, rosy-cheeked dwarven woman with bright red ginger hair, comes out. It's tied back as best she can. You can see a bit of sweat still left on her brow, but you see this look of confidence as she brings out in person this large roasted suttling pig, glazed in this like very sweet smelling honey glaze. The skin crisped up, that can be seen from the far side of the cart as they approach with it and begin to serve you all tableside. As they cut into this large group portion, the smell spreads across this entire cart. It is almost mouth-watering the moment they cut into it, as the scent wafts into everyone's nose from corner to corner of the car.
Nice.
I hope you enjoy the meal. It's our personal specialty, the suttling pig. It is herb-infused, honey glazed. The skin has been cured for 3 days and prepared tableside and cut for you all. Enjoy. As she steps back and awaits you all to take your first bites before exiting the cart with the silverware and any of the cutting implements. But it is unmistakably a luxurious entree. Like, if it... Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I eat it with no grace at all. Yeah.
You watch as Lord Almanor begins to chuckle and laugh. Yes! No hesitation whatsoever, and I like it!
It's good.
Indeed, indeed! A fine meal for a fine day's work. And as that's... Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yes, much appreciation for this delightful delicacy.
Of course, of course. We appreciate all you did for the people traveling aboard this cart, or aboard this train. Without you, there's no telling what might have occurred. I'm certain the two individuals you saved will forever remember that evening. Remember those who saved them on that evening. But with that, I have one other thing I'd like to discuss with you all. Perhaps a potential business dealing in the future, as you all seem quite capable.
I guess I'll just say yes. What would you like to discuss?
Well, as I said before, I'm a trader by design. I am a man of fine goods, always looking for the unique and the fascinating in the world. Unfortunately, that also puts me in a precarious spot sometimes with some of the locals in this region. They are none too fond of us trespassing into their lands at times. In the future, should I perhaps need a regiment of guards, would you all be interested in accompanying me on one of my excursions into the mesas?
I'm gonna look at my companions.
Sorry. When do you want to do this?
It's nothing in urgency, nonetheless, but perhaps in the coming weeks, once I've settled some affairs further northward within the dynasty, I do need to discuss with my contacts there as well as in the highlands further north of there to establish dealings. But perhaps, if all goes as planned, I will have everything I need to finalize a very lucrative transaction.
We got lots stuff to do. I don't know. I look at Dazes and Trash to see what they think.
We are currently on a. I'm drawing a blank on the word, but the thing that we're currently tasked with is of quite importance, and unfortunately, our priority must be to see this through before we could even consider taking on something else.
Of course, I understand. You have your priorities as, but again, the offer stands, as I'm always looking for capable individuals to assist me in my travels and my business ventures.
We're very grateful again for this evening, and very appreciative of you hosting us, and I'm sure we are going to keep in touch, and maybe perhaps we could be of some benefit to each other mutually in the future.
Of course. If you ever need to get a hold of me, and you would like to cement a business dealing, by all means, please have one of the local mages get in contact with me. And he scribbles down his name on a piece of parchment and slides it over to you, Trash. Of course. The offer still stands. It is by no means the vitalest of things. It'll take me several weeks before I can finalize this deal, of course.
Then perhaps we can talk in several weeks. We may not be on our current trajectory for such a long time, so I will keep this in mind. Thank you.
Of course. I also have potentially some other business with you, Lord Garmon. And you watch as the Lord Garmon kind of perhaps not. Perhaps we discuss business after dinner. As he kind of shrugs off the question.
Can I, I guess, can I see if Lord or Lady Garmon had any reaction to, like, a conversation that we were having with, Lord Almanor?
Sure. Give me an insight check. With a 13, it's difficult to read, but you do notice that this kind of discussion of business is causing, you know, the Lord Garmon across from you, just being in close proximity, you see him tense up a bit more and sweat a bit. Just, you sense a bit of tenseness and uncomfortableness.
Okay.
Just as this conversation is beginning to fizzle out, you hear the knock of a amplifying microphone, if you will, as a soft female voice comes over, beginning a sultry number over the arcane amplification devices throughout the car, similar to the previous night, but a provocative tone this evening. Very sultry number in a mixture of Elvish, Common, and a bit of Sylvan. As everyone's attention sort of turns to the beautiful voice of the half-elvish woman, her purplish gown, a bright nightshade-like purple to the top, going down and darkening to almost a pitch black at the feet, in this very form-fitting like gown, beautiful headpiece of white and black feathers trailing off the end, kind of accented in the curves of her and sharpened tips of her ears, and her makeup almost that of a porcelain doll in this evening light as the car's lights begin to dim for you all as the music begins to play and the song is sung. Floof and Dazes, you watch as, again, these two tables are pushed together, so Lord Almanor and Lord Garmon are sitting right next to each other in reality, so they're like within the same sort of 1 or 2 foot space. And you, even through this music, with your proximity and high perception, you kind of hear a bit of whisper as he kind of leans over and says something to Lord Garmon. Just a moment here. You hear the phrase, Lord Garmon, don't think your secrets are mine. And then you can't really hear over a sharper pitched note of the song, but then you hear a small price to pay. And you see just vaguely in this dimmed light that same sort of tenseness to the muscles and reaction to what's going on here. Before the continued singing of this song kind of trails off into the melody. And after a few minutes, the song rings to a close as you hear a chorus of applause from everyone within the car.
I think I try to clap, but it doesn't really make a proper sound.
It's more of a
squelching.
a slop more than a clap.
Yep.
I accidentally thunderclap. Just kidding.
Everybody roll Constitution saving throws.
Yeah, I gave a clap.
Thunderclap. But it's another few moments, and you Trash, sitting now basically directly across from Lord Almanor, you see in his eyes sort of a sense of recognition as he listens and watches the young woman singing on the opposite end of the car. And you watch as he calls over a seemingly unnoticeable and unremarkable woman clad in leathers and steps over to Lord Almanor as he leans forward and whispers something to her before a subtle nod, and she begins to make her way towards the front of the car. Before the next song is sung, you watch as you kind of clock this passing by, sitting directly across. You watch as this young woman approaches the singer for the briefest of moments as a verbal exchange before walking back to her seat.
I wouldn't have caught any of that exchange, like what he was trying to say to her or anything, right? Because they're whispering.
Do you recognize they were saying something? Do you speak Abyssal?
Oof. I do not.
It was definitely words of some kind or some sort of speech, but
Okay.
it was definitely said in some other language, and it just sounds like a really it's a really soft, but it was a very vulgar language, like a very off-putting language, but it was so soft that you definitely heard it, but unless you speak Abyssal, then you wouldn't have understood it.
Okay.
But you watch you listen all again as another set of songs is sung, a mixture of songs of love, songs of heartache, songs of revelry and exchanges, all in varying and sometimes contradictory melodies to the actual lyrics of the songs themselves, all equally or more beautiful than the last. This whole set of songs goes on for about an hour to an hour and a half, a very long set of songs. And before the last few numbers, the staff bring out a palate cleansing sort of dessert sorbet for everyone. And then Rivo, called over by everyone, or called over by the singer, has a quick exchange. And you watch as he quickly steps back behind the bar, and you hear the beautiful voice of this half-elven woman again. As a thank you to everyone for attending, I'd like to offer a round of drinks to everyone in attendance, especially to those who risked their lives to protect those they had no right to protect. Thank you for all you did. Thank you for all the lives that you may have saved unknowingly. And then you watch as Rivo, accompanied by a few members of staff, bring over it's a very cloudy looking cocktail. It's got this swirling bluish hue to it, and it smells of like a mixture of blackberries and with a hint of mint atop it, muddled over ice, with a sort of sweetened finish of simple syrup, and that same sort of floral note. And he passes out a handful of drinks to everyone at the table. A round of drinks for everyone here. As he steps back behind the bar, and you watch as Lord Almanor raises a glass. Toast to the saviors of the Railway Tavern. Cheers. As you watch him take a stiff, long drink of the provided alcohol.
I drink my drink.
Everyone else is drinking their drink?
You watch as everyone around takes a drink. Both Lord Garmon, his wife, Lord Almanor, as well as the everyone in your general area that was served.
I'm gonna take a sip.
Okay, yeah, same. A sip.
I
Okay.
drink the whole thing. I'm poisoned as fuck.
But you listen as the beautiful, sultry voice comes again over the microphone. This is a song of longing, of love that shouldn't be but is. A song of the evening. Song of what could be. And you listen, it is a beautiful, elegant melody. Probably one of the most beautiful vocal introductions to a song that any of you have ever heard. It trails off, reminding you of childhood, of love to family, love's lost, to joyous times, both present and gone. And I need everyone to make a wisdom saving throw.
Ah! I knew it! So... Okay.
Man, fuck that poison.
With disadvantage.
Wait, for all of us?
Yes.
Alright, I'm just gonna roll a second one then.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Disadvantage really, really screwed me up.
Same.
Same.
You enjoy the song as it seems to go on far longer than you originally anticipated. It is a melody that echoes in your minds for what seems like hours, but as you focus solely on the song itself, by the time its melody and its lyrics end, you realize it's only been but a few moments. But nonetheless, the beautiful song lingers in your minds and puts you at ease. An ease that some of you have not felt in quite some time. As although you are on a perilous mission, you understand that everything that you do in life has significance for yourselves as well as others. You hear a slow but gradual increase of clapping from Lord Almanur that is accompanied by everyone else in the cart, including the staff, as the beautiful songstress at the other end gives a deep bow to everyone, and the lights increase in brightness for the evening as the arcane music box begins to play once more. The live portion of the show now over for the evening. You watch as a number of people begin to filter out of the entertainment cart, either heading further down the train into the gambling cart or off to bed for the evening, having perhaps had a bit too much enjoyment for the evening. What would you all like to do?
Are we up and good now? Is that like just a good?
As far as you know, all you enjoyed was a beautiful, singular final song to the show.
Okay.
When you look at the clocks on the wall, doesn't seem like any suspicious amount of time has passed.
Okay.
Just like casually check my person, just make sure nothing seems amiss as best as I can.
Sure. You look through your belongings. Nothing seems amiss. You watch as this time Lord Garmon kind of as he kind of rubs his forehead. You can see beads of sweat as he kind of presses his temples together. I apologize, my friends. I have quite the headache right now. I need to perhaps get a moment of fresh air. My dear, can you have the staff bring me some warm honey milk? That always seems to help. This is I apologize. It's an old war wound. As he stands up to kind of ride himself and take a deeper breath. You can see he's a rotund man, but he is quite he has a strong physique at the same time. He's not just like a blob. He's just a very bulky individual. And it's more accented by these thick clothes that he wears. My dear, I will see you back in our car later on. Of course, dear.
Can I follow him or stay with him?
Yeah. Are you trying to do this covertly or?
Not necessarily. So I don't know. I'm gonna attempt to charm him.
Okay.
I don't know the parameters of that cast. Is that just something I just can kind of do, like, without everyone
well,
seeing
how are you going about charming him? Explain to me what you're trying to do so I can determine what needs to be done.
I want to charm him because he's obviously not very forthcoming, but he did mention the Lunarium earlier, and he's involved in the trade. So my intentions are to try and see who he works or does that kind of stuff with to get closer to the source of
sure.
stuff.
Okay. Well, so you're just going to try to follow him? He's, at this point, is proceeding out of the entertainment cart, going south towards the southern tip, or the caboose, basically, of the train.
All right. Even if I could stop him there, or can I? Here, let's try this first. Can I cast Charm Person on him now?
You are you going? Yeah, you would need to touch him to do that.
Yeah, I'll give him a pat on the shoulder and attempt to charm him.
Okay. What is that saving throw?
It is Wisdom 15.
Wisdom 15. Got it. From what you can tell, you reach over and touch his shoulder in a sort of comforting way. You know, kind of patting him on the back. You stand probably a good foot taller than he does. So it's not an uncomfortable position, like having to reach up. This is a rather tall man. He's probably about 6'4", 6'5", at full stature. But you are well and truly a foot taller than this individual at least. As you cast the spell, what are the? I believe it has verbal components. Let me double check here. Can you post the spell in chat?
Sure.
I think it has verbal and somatic is the touch. So, of course, it doesn't say. Damn it! Hold on, let me look it up.
Okay.
Just a moment here. While this is going on, Trash and Dazes, what are you all doing?
Your question is Lord Almanar still here as well?
Yes, he's still having another drink. Just enjoying the revelry of the moment. Yes, you attempt to charm a humanoid creature you can see within range. It must make a wisdom saving throw and does so with advantage if you or your companions are fighting it, which you're not. If it fails the saving throw, it is charmed by you until the spell ends, until your companions are or do anything to harm to it. Okay, it's 1 hour action. Charmed creature regards you as a friend or as a friendly acquaintance. And the spell ends. The person knows you charm them. Okay, you cast the spell using a spell. Okay. You can target one additional creature. Okay, it does have verbal and somatic components. So what somatic means that, or verbal means that you say something. Somatic means the hand gestures. In this case, the act of touching the person. So what exactly do you say to charm Lord Garmon?
Yeah, I'll just say, sorry you're not feeling well. Let's get away from the noise in this next cart. I'd like to talk to you.
Hey, yes, it might be nice to have a bit of company. I appreciate it. Yes, I was heading to the observation car. If you'd like to accompany me.
I'd love to.
All right. As you both leave, Aziz and Trash, what are you doing during this? As you watch Floof accompany Lord Garmon out of the entertainment car. I will take you guys off the board here as you head south along towards the end of the train.
Well, to be honest, I have a slight fear for Lord Garmon's life right now. But I also am kind of interested to know any information you might have. So
Okay.
I think I will just wait a little bit and then excuse myself from, I guess, Lady Garmon still here and also Lord Almanor?
Yes, she's he's just kind of enjoying the music, having a drink, and then she's kind of walked over to the bar to ask for a milk honey tea for her husband.
Okay. Says, I'll thank Lord Almanor for the invitation once again. and I will excuse myself, and I'll also, I guess, glance toward Trash to see if she would like to join me.
I'll give a nod and kind of, because I just feel a little bit guarded. Like I know nothing seems amiss, but I don't know. I just,
Yeah.
you know, I stick with Dazes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna also walk, I guess, back to the observation deck.
Okay. Both of you go ahead and give me. Are you trying to be stealthy about it, or are you just trying to kind of blend in to this without being noticed, like you're following?
Blend in, I guess.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if I was gonna go like really like to the observation deck. I was thinking maybe just stay like a bit of a distance away.
Okay. Go ahead and give me. If you're trying to blend in and kind of remain, hidden in, the background, basically, you can give me a deception check. If you're actively trying to hide and observe from a hidden location somewhere, you can give me a stealth check. And that goes the same for you, Trash. It's up to you.
Okay.
Well,
I don't
guess
think
I'm hiding.
you're hiding, and
I mean, above the table, it's a better roll for me. So.
okay,
Right.
this is hilarious because you are going to be, I think, stealthy, and I'm gonna be. Oh, actually, I can stealth too. They're both about the same. I was gonna say I'm like whoo, do, do, do. But no,
Yeah.
I can.
Because there's more than one way to stealth. You can do the whole true stealth where you're trying to hide, or you can do the, hide in plain sight Assassin's Creed style stealth.
Yeah.
Which is more of a deception of a, kind of a sociological deception maneuver more so. That's why I asked which one you were trying to do.
Right. I'm okay to go stealthy. Like we'll
Okay.
try to find some shadowy corners and slip into those and try to go unnoticed.
All right, let's see it.
Okay, not bad. 15 plus 5. That is a 20 for me.
20. Okay. This is a dirty 20? Or a natural 20?
I'm so sorry. Not a natural.
Okay,
It's a
dirty 20. Okay. Floof, give me an insight check.
Okay.
Or better yet, give me a perception check, because this is perception more than insight.
Okay. Damn it.
Okay. You don't see your companions following.
Okay.
As far as you're just focused on Lord Garmon as you head back to the observation deck. So we'll go ahead and change the scene a little bit here. And we will head to the observation deck. As you all are greeted by the still slightly warm evening air, mixed with the oncoming northern low pressure air that is beginning to cool everything around you. I don't sec here. I don't remember if we had I don't think I had an overhead observation deck map. I don't think I did. Okay. Well, we'll just pull up this one for the sake of visual representation here.
Okay.
Just to make it easier. Dazes and Trash, you kind of position yourselves just behind the, just out of sight on the, just inside the cabin portion of the Platinum Cart, as you now have access to these accommodations here. And you kind of take a table as close to that door as you can. As you watch Floof and Lord Garmon step out into the observation space. Floof, As you step out into the evening air, the warm light of the hooded lanterns cascading down from the canopy, the gilded golden canopy above your heads, stretched between these areas in the evening, during the day, they have canopies stretched between these skeletal members to block the sun. In the evening, those canopies are drawn back, wrapped around their structural portion to let the air pass over and cool the deck from the hot midday sun. You look up now. We are in full evening darkness, but you do have light from the lanterns spread about the terrain here. As you look up, the stars are abound in this empty, non-light polluted area outside the cities, not unlike the forested night sky you recall from your home. But as far as you know, you have successfully charmed Lord Garmond as you accompany him onto the observation deck. What would you like to do?
Yeah, I'll lead him towards, a good spot to kind of stand.
You watch as he takes a seat on one of the lounge chairs, massaging his temples. I apologize. The years are not kind, unfortunately. But what business would you have with me this evening?
Not great with word, but wanted to know more about Lunarium business.
What is it you'd like to know?
What do you do with the Lunarium?
I sell it to the magistrates for their uses.
A certain person there, or just anyone there?
It depends.
Where do you get Lunarium?
Give me a persuasion check with advantage as you do have the charmed effect.
Okay. Holy shit.
Oh.
That's with advantage?
I had a critical fail and a 4, yeah, so...
Oh, shit.
I'm afraid those are trade secrets, friend. I cannot divulge my sources. Otherwise, I would lose my competitive advantage.
They have like inspiration or something.
If you have inspiration, you're welcome to use it.
I think I've had it from when I did something
see
with
that
those children. Yeah.
Yes, you do. If you want to use it.
Yeah, I'm using it.
Okay, let's see it.
All right, what was that persuasion with advantage?
Well, you just roll one more die. You wouldn't roll with advantage.
Oh, I don't get... Okay.
No,
fair
you just
enough.
get to
Let's
roll
not
one
forget.
more. Yeah. It's worth 1d20.
Oh, no. Another
Oh.
4.
Oh my god, damn.
With my inspiration.
Rough.
I'm afraid that, again, is the tricks of the trade. You understand, my friend. I cannot divulge.
I understand. What do Magisterium do with Lunarium?
They build all sorts of things. This very locomotive is likely powered by some type of that magic rock. The arcane engines, the advancements of technology, all of it likely stems from Lunarium. You could say it's the most valuable substance on the continent.
I hear Lunarium bad.
How so?
Evil.
My friend, the weapon in the hands of a killer is evil, and the weapon in the hands of a soldier is good. No such item is inherently evil.
Do you give Lunarium to good or evil people?
Give me another persuasion check.
Okay.
You do have advantage.
Oh, all right. Well, that's one, and then here's the second one. Sorry.
Please, like, you gotta sage your digital dice.
My
Can you
God.
like sage your dice? You gotta put your digital dice in dice
Oh,
jail.
my man.
You need a digital dice jail. This is not okay.
My friend, as I said prior, trade secret.
How do I get into trade? I know someone with Lunarium.
Give me a deception check with advantage. This is gonna be pretty high too, because you're
That's a natty.
okay with a nat 20, even though it's an 18, but it's still.
Oh, right, yeah, of course.
But it is a nat 20, so we'll take that into account. So you have Lunarium. I see. It varies from region to region. What the price demands. Here is not good for trade. It's too close directly to the dynasty's influence. But you go to other side of the continent and suddenly the story changes. A high price can be demanded by one with the supply. I have contact there. Is older gentleman. He seems that how you say the magic-y kind. The ones that not with the magistrate, but I don't know how you say he get powers from other strange place. But I don't ask too many questions. He pays well.
What's their name?
I don't know their name. I don't ask.
How can I contact?
I'll give you my contact. Is man of how you say is man of he goes by the man known as the clergyman.
Okay. And where is he?
Right now, as far as I know, just a moment here. I gotta look at my notes. If I remember, he last heading to Grossmauer in the Landskelt, north, up towards the Mount Skega.
If you could see the way I'm spelling these, it's crazy. I'm sure.
It's on your here. I'll bring it up to the map so you guys can see here. Grossmauer. In fact, give me a history check.
Okay.
See what you know of geography. You don't know shit.
That is in character.
Can you please burn your dice? Like, I don't know. I know they're digital,
you need
but
to
like,
throw that dice away, man.
Right now.
Holy
reboot, a quick reboot.
fuck, man.
This
God.
is rough. This
Other
is
than that
rough.
one nat 20, I don't think you've rolled above like a 5.
Let's
Well,
see,
I mean, I rolled a
yeah.
7, but you have a -2, so I think a 7's the highest thing you.
-2.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Good lord. You do recognize Mount Monskega, which is the highest mountain in the entire continent. It is a centralized, easy to recognize point. Grossmauer, not so much, but you do recognize the Landscale Alliance, so you know it's somewhere east of your homeland and south of the mountains.
Okay.
Map-wise, you would know where it is because you can find it. But
Yeah.
as Floof in character, you would know it's somewhere in that region.
Got it.
You would know south of the mountains and east of the Aelenwalt.
Fair enough.
All right.
Yeah. Are you in, or what is your business with Lord Almanor?
He is, how you say, old business partner.
Also with Lunarium?
Not quite.
You seem to be in good standing now. Why stop business?
He and I don't always see eye to eye. Means and methods, if you will. We pursue our business ventures quite differently, and our intentions divulged over time.
So one good, one evil?
My friend, again, evil is a perspective.
Maybe both evil. And I put a hand on his shoulder.
Okay? Are you trying to do something specifically, or?
That's all I do for now.
He reaches up and gives you taps your hand. You are an interesting fellow. While this is going on, this exchange, Dazes and Trash, what are you doing?
We're too far to hear any of this, or
Oh, okay.
No, I would say like where you are, and they're not really like trying to hide, and Floof doesn't know you're there. So you can pretty much through the wall at this point, like you're both like at least Dazes, you have fairly high passive perception. I would say you could hear 90% of what's going on. These are not overly thick walls in this location, especially because this is a glass door, so you can pretty much hear everything out here from where you're sitting as close as possible to this outer wall.
Can we see?
Yeah, you could just peek over your shoulder every now and again and see what's going on. At this point in time, you see Floof kind of, resting his hand on the shoulder of Lord Garmon, not in an aggressive way in any way, and you watch as he kind of pats Floof's hand over his shoulder in kind of a receptive manner. It's not in an aggressive Nothing really sparks as you're watching this exchange of aggression from either Lord Garmon or especially from Floof.
Yeah, I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're listening, and I'm just kind of like, Dazes, what do you make of all the information that you're hearing?
Well, we need to be very wary in this area, especially of our new potential business partner, Lord Almanor. We would have to be we have to be careful where we stick our noses.
I don't know why, but there's something off about him. I don't trust him.
Neither do I. But he may have information that we require.
As you contemplate what you've watched and listened in on, at this point in time, you would catch this first, Aziz, as you look through one of the windows on the outer band of the outer portion that you all had walked on the other day when you were trying to sneak into this particular cart. You eye the same half-elven, blonde-haired woman in the red nightgown stepping across the catwalk on the outside of the car. Walking out onto the observation deck and taking a seat further back towards the telescope, carrying a very ornate, elegant, like extended cigarette holder, as she smokes silently, looking outward into the scenery of the observation deck. And from the other side, you watch as an attendant of one of the railway staff comes walking up, not like running, but like walking swiftly, carrying a glass of what looks like some sort of drink, looking over and stepping in front of you, Floof, and Lord Garmon. My apologies. I was asked to bring this drink by Lady Garmon for her husband. And you look down, and it is filled with a warm, like you see warm steam coming off of this drink, as now the air is beginning to get quite chilly. As you've had this conversation, you see this mixture of this sweetened milk tea, and he presents it to Lord Garmon.
I grab it for him?
Sure.
I'd like to grab the drink with the hand that's on his shoulder.
Okay.
And I'll say thanks to the waitress. But what one last question, friend. Do you recognize this? And I'd like to show him the symbol that Nightingale gave me.
He takes the piece of parchment and looks it over, trying to focus as much as possible, rubbing his temples a bit as he stares down onto the piece of parchment. I'm afraid not, friend. It is not something I am aware of.
I see. Thank you anyway. I hope this makes you feel better. And I hand him the drink.
I appreciate it. You have a good evening, friend. You are a good man. As he taps your hand and takes the drink from you. Perhaps we do business in the future.
We'll see. And I look over ominously over the edge of the train. And I say, till next time, and leave. And I think to myself, he's lucky I didn't kill him.
I'm actually impressed. Floof is, character-wise, is learning a bit of restraint, it seems.
And he's taught me, all this and that. And,
Little character development there?
I
I dig it.
And I think the Lunari, I think with the Lunarium stuff, that's when I'm gonna lock in. That's when Floof isn't an idiot, momentarily.
Okay.
But yeah, and I'll head back in, to the door, and I guess be surprised to see Dazes and Trash standing right there.
Are you trying to hide yourselves, Trash and Dazes, or are you just kind of playing it up?
Not from Floof. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
You walk in, Floof, and you see your companion sitting there directly beside the door. How do you react?
Like it's nothing. Hey guys. Well, yep.
Well, you were talking for at length with a person and you didn't punch him, and it looks like you got a lot of valuable information. I'm so proud of you.
Love it. I love it.
I hug him very briefly.
I just stand there like, what? What'd I do? And I will ask, you guys hear our talk? I just want to make sure that they heard it.
Yeah,
I think we caught a good portion of it.
most of it.
I will. So, Magisterium, Catherine, Nightingale, Armand, or Almanor, Garmon, don't know who to trust. Seems like only you two.
As far as you know, you learned that more than just the dynasty is selling this limited resource across the continent. You learned of a potential contact known as the clergyman. Is there anything else you all would like to do, or should we bring this evening to a close?
Well, no, I'm trying to stay in stealth and see what happens with this lady in the red dress and Lord Gourmand.
Okay.
This was the lady that he had eyes for, or no?
Yes.
Okay.
This woman is elegantly dressed to the nines. Very beautiful. Like this is the woman who wears the red dress to up. This is the kind of woman that wears the red dress to a wedding. Yeah.
Right.
Like that level of like ostentatious.
Damn it! I was too locked into what I was doing that I didn't realize that, or I would have.
I think that's pretty appropriate.
It's I was gonna say it's pretty true to the character, right?
Yeah, I should have said.
But Aziz, give me a perception check.
Okay. I could have been better.
13. You don't really see that much. You're from where, even with the red dress and where she's sitting, it's pretty dim here, and you do have dark vision, but it's Yeah, you don't really see anything that jumps to, alert you as she sits seemingly by herself, smoking away, as Lord Armand seems to be, at least for the time being, rubbing his temple and drinking his milk tea.
Alright. I was trying to be in the gossip, but I guess it's not happening. Oh, I'm good.
Is there anything else anyone would like to do?
I let out a big yawn. I'm tired.
With that, you all, fatigued by your evening of enjoyment and revelry, and still slightly recovering from your ordeal amongst the bone collectors, make your way back to your rooms for another evening's rest. You may go ahead and take another long rest if you expended any spell slots or anything. Contemplating the information that you garnered during this whole exchange, you sleep soundly. The rocking of the carts, the rhythmic thumping across the rocks, and the wisping sound of the desert air, creating this white noise, if you will, allowing for a deep sleep into the early morning. A deep sleep.
I snore so loud, it's insane.
Do I lose sleep over it?
I mean, you definitely hear it, but amongst the rattling of the train, and the fact that you've kind of gotten used to it at this point, it's almost rhythmic. It's kind of like whale noises at this point. But those calming whale noises are swiftly dashed as the sun rises and you hear a blood-curdling female scream from further down the train. An ear-piercing scream that erupts and echoes down through the cars that you hear coming from the outside. What do you all do?
Run in that direction.
Okay.
Is the train stopped?
No, the train is still moving.
Okay.
Yeah, the train is still moving at its normal cruising speed. Go ahead, Dazes, since you were the first to ask. Give me a perception check to see if you can tell what direction that was coming from.
Nope, sure can't.
It's hard to say. You definitely heard it coming from outside somewhere. You don't know where. If somebody else would like to roll, you can certainly try, as you all hear this ear-piercing screech. You know that it's close enough that you could hear it, even over the sound of the train.
We're just trying to perceive which direction it's coming from?
Yeah, which direction that scream came from.
Okay, I'll roll.
Okay.
I think I'm too slow to get up and wake up to actually do anything that requires skill, so good luck, Trash.
My perception, I don't have any pluses, so it's just my roll, which is 16.
16.
That's 60%. Yep, very nice.
You hear it, and you're fairly certain it's coming down from the southern edge of the train.
Okay. I will head in that direction and try to motion or at least shout to Dazes like that. That's where I think it's coming from.
You watch as multiple people hear this scream, and staff members hear this scream, this shattering wail in the calmness of the early morning as the sun is beginning to rise. You head in that general direction. Heading back, Dazes, you recognize as Trash is heading down the train towards the direction of the sound. You are heading back through the remainder of the mithril car, through the platinum car, and just as you are about to exit the door, you see a female staff member of the train, a young woman with brown hair, stumbled back against the door, this glass door where you had previously been watching Floof and Lord Garmon have their conversation. She's covering her mouth, her eyes wide as she stares forward, her fingers and hands shaking as she points towards a limp and motionless body lying on the ground in front of her, not but 10 feet forward. A large, rotund form dressed in expensive furs and leathers and silks. The face of a man you saw alive but mere hours ago.
Oh.
The eyes wide, staring up, the mouth wide open as dry drool drips down the lips, as bloodshot eyes stare up in fear. The skin pale, the veins in the face shrinking as the blood slowly begins to coagulate within the swiftly cooling body in the night air as rigor mortis is already beginning to set in. The lifeless body of Lord Garmon lies staring up into the heavens, his back lying still on the wood planks of the observation deck. And that's where we're going to go ahead and end for the evening.
Oh my god.
Floof, you got good timing.
Yeah, I guess.
'Cause I would keep going, but we would definitely have a super long session, and I know it's going to be super late, so we'll go ahead and end it there for the evening.
Okay.
And I will leave you guys on a cliffhanger because probably our next session won't be for a few more weeks because I'll be traveling. So I will leave you to think about that for a few weeks.
No, stop! Damn it!